Everybody, this is Demo Gonzalez of Heartwood Financial Services. Hey, thanks for joining me for our latest educational video that we have. And the topic today is the 5 big mistakes that I see people make when they do their financial planning. And I've been in the business for 20 plus years now, and so I've seen a lot of different things through lots of different interesting cycles. Different generations of people too, which is very interesting. But what I've done is I've compounded what I thought were compiled the 5 big mistakes that I see people make over and over again. It doesn't even matter, how old they are or what market cycles we're in. It seems to be the same trend. So I thought I'd share these with you. I hope you find them interesting. Please feel free to like or make a little comment down underneath. I always like to hear what you have to say, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. It does help with all the all the algorithms that get it out there for everybody to see. But thank you. Alright, mistake number 1, and probably the biggest one that I see, is people will just not have a plan at all. That's why we have this graphic here. I think this might be the Himalayas. But anyways, you don't go climbing up a giant mountain without having a meticulous plan of how you're going to do it and make sure you're very well prepared, right? So it's the same thing with financial planning. These are big goals that we're trying to accomplish. We want to get to financial freedom or retirement or college. So these things oftentimes take a little planning and maybe sometimes even a little bit of help. So I think it's important to make sure you're doing a financial plan. Now, some of the feedback that I've heard over the years are things on 2 sides of the coin. One, we don't feel like we have enough money, Demo, to really make it even relevant. So why should we even bother? I need to wait till I have more money. Well, that sometimes can be true, but I would say that's not always or not often the case, because when you do the financial planning, you might find out that you have enough to get started and get the ball rolling a lot sooner than you thought. And you might also really get motivated once you have a plan in place and you got it in writing, and you got somebody that's kind of holding you accountable, that you can accomplish a lot more than you thought. And then on the flip side of that coin, I get clients that have plenty. They spend and they always seem to have enough, and that's never seems to be something that they think is important to do, to think it through beyond just now. And I would say that's also a mistake, because if you do the planning, you'll find out that you can maybe accomplish a heck of a lot more than you ever thought you could, and maybe even do it faster. And then the other thing I would say, this comes up a lot, and I think this is very important. If you're married, you have a spouse or a partner, I think it's very important to go through the financial planning process. Get on the same page. Talk about your goals. What if it's not exactly the goals that your spouse has? Maybe you can come to some consensus, and it could really be a really cool experience of getting on the same page, not having that resentment, not having as many of those money fights that come up when people are, on one level and the other's on another level. So again, important for everyone on all spectrums to make sure they're thinking this through. Alright, the second mistake that I see a lot as well is when people go through the plan and go through the planning process, but do it all on their own, because maybe you're the nerdy one and you like to make sure you got all your ducks in a row, but your partner or spouse is not. And not getting them engaged in that process, I think, could be a very big mistake. First of all, there could be a lot of great information that the other person has that would be very relevant to the plan. Plus, it could also there could also be some alienation that, they're not really part of the plan. You don't really care about their goals. And so there could be a little bitterness that comes out in some of that. And so I think that it's very important if you're married, you have a partner, you need to make sure you do the planning together. It's actually pretty amazing when people come together and they start talking these things out and they figure out that the plans that they put together are actually sometimes even better than what they thought on their own. So I would definitely encourage you to do that as well. All right, the other mistake that I see oftentimes is the oversimplification of thinking, well, with the amount of money I have, all I need is, 7% return on my money. And, if I withdraw 5% of my money, I have a 2% cushion. That's my inflation hedge. And heck, I'll never run out of money if I do that. And the point of bringing this up is that I think we all intuitively know that that's probably not a good idea, but at least initially, sometimes it can be attractive to just go with the simple approach. But as you can see by these roller coaster pictures, the market is never going up in a linear, nice, straight line, right? It doesn't go up 7% perfectly straight. And so you have to take into consideration the fact that the market is very volatile. Yeah, you might be looking at a portfolio that averages 7%, but that 7% could be 14% one year, 0 another year, plus 21 another year, minus 7 another, so you're getting the average there, but it can happen in a very volatile way, and you have to take into consideration the sequence of returns, which is why it's good to use some of these software programs that run many situations and really do a good analysis of that to make sure that you have enough margin built into your portfolio. All right, I also see this one a lot, not planning for the longevity risks that exist. I don't know what it is about us. We always assume we're going to live a lot shorter than we typically do. Maybe we've had some personal things that have happened in our lives that make us think that. Of course, that can happen. But in reality, we end up living longer usually than we think. And if you live longer, you're going to need your money to last you longer. And so when you do a plan, you have to take into consideration that you could live into your 90s or even longer. Chris's grandfather is turning 104 this year. Can you imagine if you live into your hundreds? So you have to do the planning. And I always kind of jokingly say that's why you plan for the worst. In other words, the worst case for your assets to last you, but you hope for the best. And so this is a piece that I think a lot of people forget about. All right, and lastly, we see this one a lot as well. Wanting to take Social Security as soon as possible. I think this one kind of goes along with the not thinking we're going to live very long mentality. We want to get our money now as soon as possible because you never know what tomorrow will bring. And certainly I can understand that mindset. I think that's probably human nature. But in reality, we do end up living into our 80s, sometimes even 90s and longer, like the example I gave in the longevity one. And if you are going to live a long life, it may make sense to delay those Social Security benefits because they go up every year. You delay them by a very nice rate. And as we saw here recently with the new bump up in the cost of living, you also get a nice cost of living adjustment bump up. Of course, this one can also get a little political and a little philosophical. So this is not an answer for everybody to delay, right? It's a conversation you need to have with your financial professional. But in many, many cases, I do see that delaying would add a lot more lifetime income for my retired clients. Alright, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. The top 5 mistakes that I see. Hopefully you're not making any one of these, but if you are, please feel free to reach out to me, talk to me. I'd be happy to point you in the right direction or even help you with a financial plan and getting all your ducks in a row and avoiding these mistakes. I hope this was helpful to you all, and thanks again for watching. God bless.